I feel like it's been such a long time that I reviewed an iPhone. I actually got iPhone 16 and 16 Pro last year, but I did not review them. And the main reason was the Apple Intelligence because the whole 16 series was based around that. And we all know where the Apple Intelligence is right now. So, this year when Apple launched the new iPhone 17 series, it was focused around the hardware itself, which I think paid off. And the hero of that launch was this iPhone 17. From the outside, the design is largely unchanged from the iPhone 16. There are a few different colors. The one is the mist blue, which I have right now. I actually wanted the sage green, but I went to the store and I liked this one, so I got the blue one. And that's where the similarity ends from the previous generation. When you see the front of the phone, this is the new flagship display you can get even on the Pro phone. So as you can see, you get the new always on display, and this is the same LTPO panel that you get on the iPhone 17 Pro. Apple surprised us by giving the same display as Pro series. So this can go from 1 Hz to 120 Hz, and this also can get as bright as 3000 nit as the Pro phone as well. So kudos to Apple for giving us the same Pro display as the Pro iPhone. And I also think the speakers have been improved because the phone is slightly bigger. It is now 6.3 inch rather than the 6.1 inch from last year. And you also get the same ceramic tone front with the anti-reflective coating, which I was expecting to be a bit better, but I ended up applying a screen guard on the phone. And if I talk about the performance, you get the new A19 chip, which is actually more powerful than the A18 Pro on the 16 Pro. Yeah, the numbers are confusing, but you do get a powerful chip. You don't get the vapor chamber cooling like A17 Pro. So if you want the powerful device with more better cooling system, you need to get the Pro. So this phone does get a bit hot as compared to 17 Pro, but overall in day-to-day use, it's a good phone and you won't face any issue. The battery life on paper has been improved by 8 hours on the video playback, but in the real life the difference is marginal. But if you get 120Hz instead of 60Hz and you still get a better battery life, I think it's a win. So I've been getting a really good battery life, so I can easily get around 6 to 7 hours of screen on time with 5G and Wi-Fi mix usage. If I'm on just 5G, I get around 6 hours, and if I'm just on Wi-Fi, I get around like 8 hours. And I think it's a really good battery life for a 6.3 inch phone. With that in mind, you also get the 25 watt Qi 2.2 charging this time. You also get the 25 watt with the iPhone 16 series as well. And I hope Samsung will bring the same standard. Pixel also has the same standard, but they don't provide 25 watt in the whole series. But with iPhone, you get that. On the connectivity front, you get the new N1 chip, which is going to manage the Wi-Fi 7, the Bluetooth 6, and also the ultra-wideband. You also get the dual GPS, which was limited to the Pro series until this year. So the overall connectivity has been improved on this phone. The Wi-Fi connectivity speed has been much better, and also the AirDrop speeds between the Mac and the phone has been improved as well when you're transferring the large file, which cannot hide the fact that this phone still comes with USB 2 when you want to transfer over wire. So I think the wireless improvement will come in handy. The other great part of this phone is going to be the iPhone storage. The base iPhone storage is now 256 GB, which was a huge surprise in a sense that Apple did not even increase the price of base iPhone, which is not the case with the Pro series. You have to pay the same price as last year of 256 GB. Last but not the least, you also get better and improved cameras. The main sensor is exactly the same, but because of the new ISP, you get better processing. The ultra wide has been changed from 12 megapixel to 48 megapixel with macro capabilities, so you get really good photos. By default, iPhone 17 takes 24 megapixel high efficiency photos, which are very detailed, and even if you go to 2x, which is like a digital optical zoom, you get a 12 megapixel photo, which does look really good. The front of the camera is where the magic happened this year. So when Apple announced the new square sensor, I mean, everyone went nuts. This is something that no one was expecting. So I think it's a huge improvement on the front camera. And this is where I think Apple has done wonders, and I think every company should adopt this. So right now I'm recording from front camera 4K 30, but I'm not rotating my phone. So this is in landscape mode. But as you can see on the camera right now, I am holding the phone straight and I can look in the camera. It's not going to look weird. But when I tilt the phone, we have to look either left or right. So the square sensor is doing wonders, and the camera quality has been improved as well from the front camera. Honestly, I could not find any problem with the iPhone 17 itself. If there is anything that I need to complain about, that is going to be the software, which is iOS 26 on every other phone that you're going to get. The liquid glass is not everyone's favorite, and also there are some inconsistency when it comes to the software, the way the animation changes, but they're not bad as such. I mean, the overall experience of the phone is really good. You still get all the Apple ecosystem features. There are some bugs here and there, but the overall experience has been good for me. So let me know what was your experience with the iPhone 17 series if you already got one, and if you haven't, which phone you're planning to get. My name is Rohit. I'll see you in the next one. Till then,